Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. This is Fitz with the Renovate Roundup, which is basically a weekly wrap-up of things that are going on at Renovate, discussion about the things that we're talking about there, and to let you know about the things that we're announcing so that you are on board and connected with what's going on with the senior high ministry at Croix Church. I'm coming to you from our By Design classroom, which is an offering that we have for students, teenagers who have special needs. So if you know of anybody that has a child that with special needs, we'd encourage you to bring them to Croix Church. We have a full-fledged ministry for them now, and if you have any questions about that ministry, I encourage you to email Courtney Thompson at this address right here, and she'll get back to you. It's also a great place for you or your son or daughter to serve. I had Monday off of work. We weren't in the office because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I watched part of the inauguration proceedings, and I remember my wife saying a couple years ago as we watched Ronald Reagan's funeral procession, she turned to me and she said, "I want you to become president." And I thought, "Oh, that's really sweet." And then she said, "Yeah, I want them to do this for me when you die." And I thought, well, there goes the sweetness right out the window. But I thought that there's no part of me that wants to be president. I mean, the pressure is too big to know that every action you make, every statement you make, reflects on over 300 million other people and affects their lives. So the decisions you make don't only affect you or your family, but over 300 million other lives. And that's a concept called federal headship, where one's actions affect a larger group. And we talked about that in terms of Adam this week. We're working through Life in 6 Words, the gospel. And the gospel is an acronym which stands for God, Our Sins, Paying Everyone Life. And we focused on the O, which is our sins separate us from God. In much the way that the president's actions affect all of us in the United States, Adam's one sin of rebellion to God affects all of us, and that now, according to Romans 5:12, sin is born into all of us. And we talked about that, but we talked about the fact that not only is it born into all of us sin. Romans 3:23 tells us that all have sinned and come short of God's glory. And so that's what we talked about this week. It was kind of a downer of a week, I'll be honest, because we're focusing on the problem, but the cure is coming over the next couple of weeks. A couple of questions you can use to process with your son or daughter about the things that we're talking about at Renovate. One would be is to simply ask them, okay, all of mankind is punished because of Adam and Eve's one act of rebellion, eating from the tree in the Garden of Eden. You can simply ask them, do you think that's fair? And why or why not? Do you think it's fair that we're all punished because of their one act, that we all have sin born into us because of that one act? And you can have a discussion around that. We also talked about the 7 deadly sins, which are listed right here. And one thing you can ask them, I probably wouldn't ask them unless you have a really tight relationship where you can go there. I wouldn't ask them, which one do you struggle with? But you might say, what are some of the deadly sins that you see prevalent in the world today? And how does that affect other people? Does it just affect the one person who's committing the sin, or does it affect everybody? And how does it affect everybody? And the other thing you might want to, I would encourage you to encourage them to do, is to invite somebody to Renovate. Not because we want a big, awesome youth group, but because we want more people to hear the truth about Jesus Christ. And we've been encouraging them to do that each week, to think about somebody and be praying for somebody that they want to bring to Renovate to hear about Jesus Christ. So I'd encourage you to do that as well. A few things that we are announcing at Renovate, and actually one that we aren't even announcing yet. But first, a reminder, mission trip deadline is less than 2 weeks away. So get your registration forms at this website right here. You can download it, print it off, and get it turned in with the appropriate deposit. And I have been hearing from some students that cost is an issue. Maybe finances are tough. Here's the thing I want to say to you as a parent. Money is out there to be had. There's money out there. And there are people willing to give money for students to go on mission trips. And we did a little video last year. We had some fun with it, but it's got some tips for your son or daughter ways that they can raise money to go towards their mission trips. And so I would encourage none of you to back out because you simply can't afford it, because there's money to be had out there. And if you want to see that video, you can go to this link right here, and it'll show you that video of ways that you can raise money. Also want to get on your calendar, March 22nd and 23rd, we're going to be doing a trip to St. Louis for a conference called Dare to Share, Follow. And it's the same people who did the curriculum that we're currently going through, and it's just an opportunity to train our students in how to share their faith with their friends. And then finally, coming up in just under 2 weeks is our Super Bowl party on February 3rd. We're going to have the game on the big screen, probably be playing 9 square, have food. We're asking girls to bring some sort of dessert and guys to bring a side dish, which again probably means chips. So that's what we have to announce, and there's some ways for you to talk to your son or daughter about what's going on at Renovate. And now if you click right here, this has nothing to do with anything Renovate, but this is just a little prize for you for sticking around this long in this week's Renovate Roundup. Enjoy the video, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.